Namaskar, boys and girls, young architects. Parking lots is an important aspect of design, especially when you're dealing with campus design. So, in this video, I would like to share with you my thoughts about what needs to be considered while you are designing parking lots in a campus. Parking basics is an important aspect of architectural design when you are designing a campus. You should refer National Building Code for getting basic references about how much space a car needs. According to the code, a car needs 13.75 square meter of area and a two-wheeler needs about 1.25 square meter of area. With this basic idea, one should proceed further with the designing of car park. But then the dimensions of various car models is also an important aspect. One should not refer to the foreign references because the cars in their country may have different dimensions, and car in our country in India we have different dimensions depending upon our road conditions, depending upon the the family size, depending upon how many people who you would like to have in the car. So the car manufacturing companies, they have their own standards of car design in various countries. So if you are designing a campus in our country, in India, you should refer to the Indian standards of cars. An Indian car typically will have such dimensions. These are all given here. You can go through this presentation and try to get the dimension. Dimension for Tata Indica, which is a most versatile and most popular car in India. It has got dimension, length, width, height. In addition to that, there are other aspects like the turning radius of a car, the wheelbase, and the ground clearance. These are also important when you design a parking lot. This is a Tata Nano, which is the smallest car in India. And these are the dimensions which are given in this presentation of Tata Nano. This is a comparative chart of Indian cars in which we have taken Honda, Maruti, Ford, another model of Honda, and Hyundai. And comparison is done with respect to length, width, height, ground clearance, and wheelbase. These are the basic layouts of how the car can be parked. A 90 degrees parking, 45 degrees parking, 60 degrees parking. Normally in India, 90 degrees and 45 degrees, these two types of parkings are important in a campus. In the city, on specific busy roads, there could be parallel parking, but normally parallel parking is avoided in a campus planning. So 90 degrees parking and 45 degrees parking, which is quite popular among architects. And one more important thing, that some students, some young architects, out of fascination go for 45 degrees parking because it looks nice. There is nothing to look nice in a parking design. Parking design is a completely calculative aspect. And convenience and under which conditions you're using 45 degrees parking becomes more important than whether it looks better or not, or whether it is different than what others do. That should not be the aspect. Let me tell you, in most of the campuses, 90 degrees parking is the most popular one because the car can travel in both the directions when it is a 90 degrees parking. When it is a 45 degrees parking, then normally the road in front of it is always one way. This is a typical 45 degrees parking, in which you will find that the triangles which are created in front of the vehicle and the triangles which are created at the back of the vehicle is is a waste unless one is clever enough to add that into the overall landscaping. Then it's a sawtooth kind of landscaping that will happen, and notches are created in which the cars can be very well parked. Parking for special needs people is also one very important aspect. Normally, every 10 cars of a normal parking, there should be one parking for disabled people. This is just a thumb rule. One need to read more about the codes and try to find out what exactly is specified and to be used. But normally it is so. After every 10 normal parking, one parking should be specifically kept for special needs people. And in a lot of 10 parkings, the end parking is always for the special needs people, not in between parking. And special needs people need an extra about 1.5 meter of space, which is striped in an angular manner so that no one else can park in that space. It is for the special need people to get out from the car, and it is for the convenience of circulation. So special needs people need such striped portion on which one can maneuver after parking the car properly, and there has to be a signage that it is for special needs people. This signage is the international standard. In any country you go, this is the signage that is used for a reserved parking for special needs people. Minimum of 7 feet or 2.1 meter is needed for a car to be parked underneath. Here we are talking about the parking in the open space, not in the basement. So we are dealing with the parking in the open space. So the parking area should have relevant trees to be planted in such a way that the canopy of the tree is well above 2.1 meters, so that it cannot interfere with the parking of the car. At the same time, it can give partial shade on the car, and that's why the trees have got to be planted in the parking lot in such a way that the parking lot does not look like a whole concrete surface, but it is nicely interfaced with green trees in between, so that the entire experience of being in the parking lot becomes very soothing experience to the person who would like to use that car park. Economics of parking layout is very important, and all architecture students should very well understand this. There are two examples here. Example number one, in which there are 30 cars to be parked, and example number two, also in which there are 30 cars to be parked. But remember, in example number 1, when you enter the parking lot like this, you only use 3 driveways to park 30 cars. Whereas in example number 2, you use 4 driveways to park your cars. So, which is economical? Whether you need 4 driveways to park your 30 cars or you need 3 driveways to park your 30 cars. Naturally, 3 driveways is much more economical. And this is precisely what you need to think when you are designing a parking lot in a campus. Also, the ground clearance which is given by the car manufacturing authority becomes very important because that will decide the curb height which you are going to use for stopping the car, or maybe at some places car stoppers that you will provide as an architect in such a way that the car stoppers don't interfere with the bottom of the car, or they don't scratch the car from the bottom. At the same time, when you park the car, the tire of the car will go and touch the curb, and the driver will know that now it's time to switch off the car and park it properly. For that purpose, the curb or the car stoppers become very important aspect in car park design. And there should be gap, maybe a footpath, a 2.4-meter width, either footpath or a grass patch, both the sides of which can be parking, so that the driver can get out and get onto the footpath to walk towards the building. So here are some examples of how the car park is to be designed. 90 degrees car park, and ends, which are the leftover spaces, how the ends have got to be aligned with the driveway which comes into the car park. This example shows how the corner portions have to be landscaped in such a way that the parking becomes easy, and 2 cars while coming out or going in do not interfere with each other. And that's why the ends are to be properly landscaped or integrated with the existing landscape in such a way that parking lot design becomes very functional. This is the example of sawtooth base for bus parking, especially when an architect is designing a school and the school campus has to be laid out properly, then you need to make provision for parking of buses as well. Normally, the buses are parked 45 degrees. Unlike cars, they don't have 90 degrees parking. 90 degrees parking is convenient for cars, whereas for buses, because they are more in length, they are heavy vehicles, it is recommended that they should be parked in 45 degrees parking, and the driveway they use should be one-way driveway. Adding trees to a parking lot also becomes very interesting. So, as I've told you earlier, parking lot which is having integration of trees and green patches becomes a very interesting place, not just to park but also to move around. How the corners are to be treated in a parking lot. In a campus, there is a boundary wall. A campus, normally any campus, school campus or any other institutional campus, is always protected by a boundary wall. So when the campus is coming up, a road is laid along the boundary wall. What for is the road laid? This road has got a number of functions. When you construct a boundary wall, for its construction, movement of material, this road is useful. After the construction of the boundary wall is over, then normally most of the campuses will have a lot of large trees planted along with the boundary wall. So those tree samplings are planted at specific distances all around the boundary wall, such that after 5 years, after 10 years, they will be full grown trees, and that gives definition to the campus. So to maintain those trees, water those trees and take care of them, you also need a road along the boundary wall. So this road will serve that purpose of maintaining the trees. Third thing is that the campus needs security. And for the purpose of security in the midnight, if the security people would like to take a round of the campus along the boundary wall so that there is no trespassing, they uh, that can happen. So to avoid any trespassing, if the security people would like to have a round in the midnight, then there has to be a road all along the boundary line. And this road becomes a very important security feature. And last, but not the least, if there is a fire hazard in the campus, then this boundary wall road becomes a very important aspect for a fire tender to come in and quickly reach the place where the fire has occurred. So these are some of the aspects, important aspects and advantages of having a boundary wall road in a campus. So parking and a boundary wall road, these are important aspects of having a good car parking and a driveway to be designed inside a campus. So a campus entry is set inside from the boundary wall. So normally when a campus is designed, the main gate is set slightly inside because there will be a security check. Any person who is coming inside first time, the security will ask about what work he has in the campus. So he has to momentarily park his car and then answer the security before he goes inside. So there has to be some kind of hold up area near the gate, and that's why the main gate is set slightly in. Most of the road junctions inside should be T junctions, because campus is a place where there is no heavy traffic like in a city where you have a crossroads and then the signals at the crossroads, sometimes even police at the crossroads. But in campus, there is no such thing. And that's why, for ease of traffic, ease of movement of vehicles, most of the roads are designed as T junctions. There is a clear access to the building of importance. That is also another aspect when you decide the actual road inside. Parking is set with landscape features. So there is no drab, concretized apron on which you park the car. It has to be always integrated with landscape to make it more interesting. All along boundary are the large trees to give definition. Other trees and plant material is planned appropriate to buildings, inside nearer buildings and at other places like in courtyards. These are the basics of car park design, outside car park design, not under the building, outside car park design in a campus. And what are the basics of car park design? and how is the boundary wall road laid, and what are the basic architectural considerations as far as the road and the actual quality is concerned related to the campus design. So take these aspects into consideration, think about it, and then design the exercise that you have. And I'm sure you will be successful in designing it. Thank you.